right, welcome to this course. We're going to be talking about why Christianity is good for the world. I am very excited. I am so thrilled to talk about all of this. It's been whirling around in my head for like a year. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it's enjoyable. The story for all of this and like why I started wanting to talk about this was because I was doom scrolling one time on Instagram Threads, the worst social media app ever. It is so full of stupidity. It's actually pretty entertaining, but it like brought out my childhood anger issues to read some of the things that I was seeing. And this was one that really motivated me to research this topic and to write something about it. This woman threaded, that's the verb form, I think, threaded and said, here are some atrocities committed in the name of Christianity by or with assistance from Christians. So first she starts with the Inquisition, which first of all, as you read about the Inquisition, it's like, yeah, for sure, dude. I'm not super huge on like heresy trials and killing people for having bad ideas. Like I'm not huge on that, but what historians today are all pretty much unanimously agreeing on is that the Inquisition was not as bad as we once thought that it was. It's kind of overemphasized and made to be really extreme, which goes for the second thing she says as well. She brings up the Crusades, which the only reason that you and I are still talking about the Crusades as if it was like this horrible, terrible thing that happened, as if it's not just like every other war that ever happened in medieval history, is because this is the one instance where the church actually sponsored violence, which is not a good idea. But this criticism is a uniquely Protestant one, right? Like the criticism of the Crusades begins with the reformers looking and going, hey, it wasn't cool of the Pope to begin indulgences by saying, if you go fight in the Crusades, like it will benefit you spiritually. Like they didn't like that. So that's where that criticism comes from. And I get it. If you watch Josh Bidel's course on the Crusades, it's actually really helpful. They're not nearly as bad as I thought they were. Then she says Native American genocide, which is crazy because Christian missionaries campaigned against that for literally hundreds of years. Just a ridiculous thing to say. It gets worse though. Then she says the Holocaust, which like Dietrich Bonhoeffer is absolutely rolling in his grave. I read a story about a guy named Martin Niemöller, who was a Christian in Germany. And apparently he was like tortured and interrogated by Adolf Hitler himself. And he looked at Hitler in the eyes and said, here's like a paraphrased version, you can kill me, but one day you will give an account to the one who is the King of Kings. So you want to look at that guy in the face, that guy who was tortured and executed by Hitler, and tell him, yeah, the Christians sponsored and guided this horrible atrocity, the Holocaust. Really interesting take. Then she says the KKK, which is actually a ridiculous example. It is so dumb. From the inception of the KKK, Christians have been the ones condemning it and saying, hey, this is not us. We are not a part of that. Not to mention that they killed so many Catholics, which is not a very Christian thing to do. Then she says black eugenics, which is also just such an ahistorical take, being that one of the main proponents of this in America was Margaret Sanger, like the founder of second wave feminism. And she was so racist and so not Christian, hated Christians so much. And all of the eugenics stuff and the forced sterilization stuff, that was all state sponsored and had nothing to do with the church. Margaret Sanger tried to get Christian ministers to advocate for it, and it just did not work. And then the last one she says is the condemnation of abortion, which is like, yeah, okay, you got us on that one. Caught me red-handed, and I'm gonna keep doing it. So when you read a thread like that, when I bump into someone's horrible take like that on the internet, it's obviously like dramatic, you know, as I'm saying something like the Holocaust and the KKK, you're like, that's absurd. Nobody really thinks that, even the most atheist people, right? Like that's a bad take, but it does capture, I think, a sentiment that can be seen all over the world today, which is this attitude towards Christianity that implies that Western culture has outgrown the church. We've outgrown the Bible, and that Christianity has never contributed anything truly positive to the world, and it will never be able to, because Christianity has always just been about control and power and abuse, and that will never change. I was watching a Jubilee video recently. It's this YouTube channel, and they make people debate and stuff like that, and it was a debate between a group of black Christians and black atheists, and one of the guys says that, you know, if you read history, Christianity became synonymous with white supremacy during the time of Constantine. And I don't know if I've ever heard a dumber take said out loud before. But that's really what a lot of people think. The question is like, is that kind of take true? Can you really say that our culture has outgrown Christianity? Like we were in puberty and now we're adults and we don't need that stuff anymore. And that the church is just holding the world back, that the church has historically done more bad than it has good. Has Christianity had a net negative impact on the world, and are our beliefs more harmful than they are helpful? My take in this course is going to be that Christianity is the best thing that ever happened to the world. There's never been a greater force for good in all of human history than the Christian church. And that's evident just looking at the world today. Christians today are the ones leading the fight against slavery and sex trafficking. Like, Christians have overcome and defeated slavery twice now. And now we're trying to do it a third time because the devil won't stop being stupid. Christians are the one who are fighting against slavery today. Research shows us that the greater the presence of Christian missionaries in a country, the less likely that government in that country is to be tyrannical. That's good. Governments are less prone to tyranny when Christians are around. Protestant missions are associated with longer life expectancies and decreased rates in infant mortality. And Christians today are pretty much single-handedly feeding and educating the entire world. So the church is doing great things, and that just can't be denied. It's not all about short-term missions and stuff like that. That stuff is great, but obviously that doesn't lead to the kind of like worldwide, long-lasting, forever impact the church is doing. Those things complement one another for sure. But the thought is that, like, would the world be better off if Christianity never existed? Like, is the church today just solving problems that it itself created? And so that's the question that we're going to deal with. Is Christianity bad or good for the world? To what end, right? Like, what's the point of all of this? My goal in this course is that you would feel confidence in your faith and in the body of Christ. This is an inherently apologetic course. I want the person who feels like, I've experienced God, I got saved, or maybe I even grew up in the church, but now I'm hearing all these criticisms, and it's like, is this stuff legit? Are these beliefs that I'm holding, are they as bad for me and for the world as everyone is saying? Is this church that I'm a part of, is this actually ruining the world? Is it just carrying on the colonization and the racism that everyone hates and all that stuff? Like, is that what's going on? And we're gonna deal with that. And I want you, if you feel that kind of insecurity, in the historical church, I want you to feel a real confidence that the church is truly a force for good. I want you to feel hope in the triumph of the church. And I want you to know that Christianity is the best thing that ever happened with confidence, because it'll make you feel a greater level of certainty in your walk with Christ and in your relationship with the church. I want to kind of undo 3 claims that I hear all the time. The first is that Christianity is just one among many other religions, that it only exists today because of colonization. Whenever people say that, the whole like 6,000 religions thing, I always kind of laugh to myself, and I'm like, start naming them, bro. And if you can get to double digits, I will give you so much money. I have never met someone who can name me double digit religions. It's just absurd. And then there's that Christianity is stupid, and that believing it is bad for you, that it's going to inhibit you from experiencing real happiness and life and progress, and that it doesn't really make any sense, that it contradicts reason. And then the church is evil, and that Christianity has ruined the world, and that religion poisons everything. We're gonna undo some of that. We're gonna talk about why that's not actually true. Before we do that, I want to just give you the books and the sources that I've been working with in the process of research. So here's my brief list. I really enjoyed all of these, and I would highly recommend reading them. The first one was Broken Signpost by N.T. Wright. How Christianity Saved Civilization by Mike Aquilana and James Papandrea. How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization by Thomas E. Woods Jr. Jesus, the Great Philosopher by Dr. Jonathan Pennington. Christian Philosophy as a Way of Life by Ross Inman, and Is Christianity Good for the World by Sharon James. Those were really helpful. They were really formative. And if you're curious about all of that, that's a good starting place for learning more about the things I'm going to discuss. Okay, let's do this.
Hey there, if you enjoyed this video, I want to let you know that this is actually just the first episode in a series trying to answer the question, why is Christianity ultimately good for the world? There's 5 more videos to watch answering this question from Elijah Lamb. And if you want to watch the rest, you can head to the link below and get a free month trial for Theos U, where you get access to the rest of this course, but also 150 other courses from every topic you could imagine in theology and biblical literacy. So go ahead and head to the link below, like I said, and get that free month trial, or send this video to someone who you think needs to see it. Thanks for watching.